Ready to unwrap a surprise from Consumer Cellular? Experience the gift of freedom with no contract, no hidden fees, and always free activation. Here comes the holiday surprise. From now till December 31st, new customers can enjoy their second month for free. To get this holiday offer, visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM and use promo code PODCAST. Act before December 31st to get your second month on us. Use promo code PODCAST.
Hi there, welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up this morning, government caution to desist from leveraging the domestic debt exchange program gains to borrow more. We hear from economist Dr. Said Wachi. Meanwhile, economist Professor Godfrey Bokpin says the Bank of Ghana must not be used as an avenue for clearing government's debt. Also, holders of domestic dollar bonds and cocoa bills given 2 more weeks to decide on participating in the debt exchange program, and Ghana City to remain stable this week, although improved U.S. labor data may pose some depreciatory pressures. Details coming up. Thanks for joining us. Hello to our friends listening on KTU Radio Koforidua. Let's get started. Economist Dr. Said Wachi has cautioned government to desist from leveraging gains of the domestic debt exchange program to borrow more. Though he agrees the program is crucial for the economy's revival, he is quick to add that the move may not be enough to guarantee the needed fiscal space. Speaking to Joy Business, Dr. Wachi, who is with the Institute of Fiscal Studies, urged government to work towards a favorable macroeconomic gains which would consolidate the growth of the economy.
Domestic debt exchange alone is not enough. After all, what triggered the current crisis is exchange rate issues due to so much money that is needed, partly due to so much money that is needed to service foreign debt. So external debt, restructuring is also very critical, and we hope that the government can succeed on that. But I think those bondholders externally are looking for the success and completion of all the domestic bond restructuring before they act. If the government is able to do this, then I hope they can begin to act.
You had Dr. Said Wachi, who is an economist with the Institute of Fiscal Studies. Meanwhile, economist Professor Godfrey Bokpin has stressed the need for government to respect the autonomy of the Bank of Ghana and not suppress it with its fiscal dominance. The central bank in 2022 incurred 60.8 billion cedi loss due to the domestic debt exchange program. Now, making some recommendations, Professor Bokpin said there must be an end to the practice of using the Bank of Ghana to clear government's debt.
Because government did not make significant progress with the debt restructuring, especially the domestic debt, with the pushback and all of that, the balance sheet of the central bank was then used as a balancing item, as we say it in accounting. What it means is that the difference, if you look at the journey to debt sustainability and the progress we have made or we could make with the debt restructuring, in other words, the haircut imposed on other creditors, and also we have a fair idea what will happen with external debt, the gap could only be closed, or we could get closer to the end game by loading a substantial portion of the haircut on the central bank's balance sheet. This is what we did.
That was economist Professor Godfrey Bokpin. Now, holders of the domestic dollar bonds and cocoa bills now have more time to decide on whether to participate in the debt exchange program. The government has extended the deadline for closing the offer for the 2 financial instruments. Here's George Raffi with more.
For some, this can be described as the second round of the debt exchange program that government is currently undertaking to restructure the domestic dollar bonds, cocoa bills, and now the pension funds. The Finance Ministry has maintained that it needs to carry out this exercise to help reduce the total debt stock. Government says it is extending this offer for the domestic dollar bonds in response to feedback from the eligible bondholders for some time to secure internal approvals to aid their participation in the offer. However, Cowbank, which is leading the cocoa bills offer, was silent in terms of the reasons for the extension. Settlement for the domestic dollar bonds will now be done on August 21, 2023, while the cocoa bills will be carried out on August 25, 2023. Government is hoping to restructure almost 20 billion Ghana cedis worth of bonds when you put the value of these two papers together. According to government, it needs to finalize the second round. Of the domestic debt exchange program for the dollar bonds and the cocoa bills to help the country secure the next tranche of funds from the IMF before the end of this year.
George, I feel with that report, we have some news on the city for you this morning. The local currency remains stable this week, although improved U.S. labor data may pose some depreciatory pressures. Foreign exchange flows are expected to improve due to selling pressures from the service sector and the interbank player. This is expected to keep the year-to-date loss at about 11% on the retail market. The local currency closed the week's trading firmer. It strengthened 0.3% week on week against the U.S. dollar. It also gained 2.36% and 1.39% against the pound and euro, respectively. So on the currency market this morning, the dollar going for 11 cedis 43 pesos. That's on the forex or retail market. Pound going for 14 cedis 68 pesos. The euro trading at 12 cedis 60 pesos. In other news, the Ghana Revenue Authority is projecting 1.2 billion cedis annually as taxes from lottery and gambling activities in its first year of implementation. The authority says it is expecting the figure to shore up in subsequent years to rake in more revenue. Officer in charge of Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Edward Jambra, says his outfit is putting up robust measures to ensure the smooth collection of these taxes.
This initiative is coming as part of the amendment to the Income Tax Act. So with the Income Tax Act, we have gaming, the GGR, the withholding tax on the gross gaming. We have amendment to the Individual Income Tax Act, Individual Income Tax Bracket. We have amendment also to the capital gains, and with all put together, we are expecting over 1.2 billion cedis. That is the expected revenue from it.
Edward Jambra is Commissioner in charge of Domestic Tax Revenue Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority. Meanwhile, the Chamber for Local Governance is making a case for Parliament to stop the Ghana Revenue Authority from collecting property rate taxes using a third-party company. According to the Chamber, the GRA is embarking on some illegalities to allow the company collect the tax from district assemblies. In an interview with Joy Business, President of the Chamber, Dr. Richard Fiadomo, said the various district assemblies could be strengthened to collect the rate according to the law.
Contrary to what GRA told ratepayers and indeed Ghanaians, that they had taken over the collection of property rates in this country, for which reason they gave us a public account, which is myassemblies.gov.gh, prima facie a government account. Fast forward, GRA told us in a release that they were engaging officers to go on the ground to do the collection. But it turned out that it is not GRA that is actually doing the collection. Digital City Solution has on 2 occasions made transfers to the selected MMDs that they have collected property rates on their behalf. DCS has also entered into another contract with private entities, and they have engaged them to be doing the collection for and on their behalf. So we are of the view that it is against the Public Financial Management Act 2016.
Dr. Richard Fiadomo is president of the Chamber for Local Governance. We have some news from the stock market. Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited led the top gainers on the stock market during the month of July as the strong run of the local buzz continued. The GSE consequently recorded a year-to-date return of 21.30%. Here's more in this report.
The other top 4 performing stocks in the month under review were Société Générale, MTN Ghana, Cowbank, and Total Energies. The GSE Financial Stock Index also closed higher than the previous month, reducing its negative year-to-date return to 16.44%. In terms of trading activities, both volume and value traded increased significantly by 669.42% and 24.25% respectively compared to the previous month. Strong performances recorded by listed companies in their first year results and bullish investor sentiment accounted for this positive outturn. Meanwhile, the Ghana fixed income market closed the month with 5.54 billion in volume traded, which was a marginal increase of 2.40% over the previous month and a 71% decline from the same period in 2021. Trades in short-term government securities accounted for 40% of activity on the market.
Tourism now, and the managing director of Adansi Travel and Tour, Gideon Asare, has reiterated the need to shore up domestic tourism investments. According to him, it has a prospect to transform livelihoods through employment and wealth creation. Speaking to Joy Business at the 10th anniversary dinner of the company, he pointed out that Adansi Travel and Tour will continue to embark on various initiatives to boost tourism in Ghana.
And what we are doing to help is that we want to make travel within Ghana more affordable. A lot of people complain about the cost when they have to travel in Ghana. So we've started to make sure that we have what we call free departures. So a time will come that if you want to go to Cape Coast on a weekend, we don't need to struggle. You just go to the mall and then there's a departure, a bus